kind of interact with those people if you would take it. And
I actually got to be in the Goofy costume.
You did?
We used to have, when we were training, and then they had it was called Disney Way 1, and we had to go down to Disneyland and learn how to do every part of the company. And one of the things was dressing up in the costumes, and I was tall enough to be Goofy, and then go out in the park. And it's weird because when you're in the park, nobody cares. And when you put on that costume and you come out and you're looking through gauze, and people suddenly are like,
I put a head on once, Goofy's head, and to look, it's tunnel vision. You look through his mouth, and for Goofy's eye line to go straight, you have to be looking down at people's shoes. So this guy's in here like looking down at people's feet all day and not seeing anything on the sides. It's incredible. And they aren't, I mean, I don't care how light the fabric is. It's, it's 105 outside and people are jumping around and stuff. It kills most people, I think. They just die after 4 hours and they get new kids to do it. But, we're lucky. We're in an air-conditioned studio. We have to do it once. And come on, Donald. They got to do it 8 times a day out in the hot sun or something.
So you don't have any cosplay stories with your wife?
No, I don't do that
Okay, so Tony, you talked about how you spent a few years with Clarence Nash, and how tricky was it to really get the voice right? And have you tried to turn around and pass that along to anybody else?
Well, I don't plan on going anywhere in the near future. And it was tricky, and it took a long time. It was about a 3-year process, and even after that, it took several years to really get to be able to enunciate. And there were a lot of things that I couldn't ask Clarence because he passed away, and things would come up where I couldn't ask him how to do it. But Jack Hanna was one of my animation teachers, and he was the director of the Donald Duck unit under Walt Disney. So he lived another 10 years, so I could go to Jack, and one of the things was, I said, sometimes I feel like I'm going to, it's hard. Was it this hard for Clarence? And he goes, oh yeah, a couple of times he fell over in a dead faint. And I can really only do it for about a couple of hours. I mean, I've been doing it downstairs because people ask and the voice starts to go and it gets kind of crunchy. I envy people like Bill who can just do a whole sentence and not have to. Sometimes now, thank God for technology, because I can do 5 takes of the line and they'll take the first word from the first take and the second word from the second take and they'll digitally put them all together like I did it. So I have to say that the engineer is just as important for Donald. And Clarence didn't have that asset. He had to do it all at once on magnetic tape in a big room with a microphone.
Another question, please. I get started up here.
You're up. I got a question about Goofy, just the character. Do you ever get people that argue about whether he should be a dog or a cow? Just simply because we've got a cow. Donald and Daisy. People got Clarabelle.
Whether he should date a cow or what?
Well, he's dating a character that's a cow, so should he be a dog or a cow?
I think you have to talk to a zoologist to really think about it. No, it's like, people always, say who's Max's mother? Is it Clarabelle? And I think it was Jessica Rabbit, is my theory. Hey, he's goofy, he's not stupid, It is kind of funny that, you have a dog dating a cow and they own another dog that doesn't talk and barks,
It's a mouse had a pet dog, it's a cartoon.
I know. It's like, if you're really worried about, is Goofy a dog?
I stay up nights wondering.
I haven't done my taxes in 8 years because I'm wondering, is Goofy a dog? I don't know. He's a goof, I think he's just one rung up on the evolutionary chain above Pluto, Sometimes they say he just has a better agent. Give him some lines, would you? One of the big questions in life, is Goofy a dog? We don't know.
Go ahead.
So you told the story about, trying to clear out ants. Have you ever pitched or had an idea for a storyline of your characters or other characters in the Disney universe?
Yeah, they tell me to go home. No. I've had ideas. I've never really fleshed them out. I know you have done pitches before.
I did
ideas. But
and I wanted to, remember the old cartoons they did with caricatures of movie stars, like Mother Goose Goes Hollywood and Mickey's Gala Premiere. I wanted to do a contemporary one of those where Donald sneaks on a red carpet and meets Jack Nicholson. And we actually put it together.
Yeah.
Bill did all the celebrities, and I liked it, but
you didn't go anywhere yet, so But there's some ideas.
Ideas. That's our job. You're just supposed to talk. I'd like to do we also did some tracks to do we haven't done a musical album in a long time, and I like to sing. It's easier for Donald to sing than talk because it's slower. So we wanted to do like Beatles tunes or Sinatra.
She loves you, yeah. What's a hick, man?
Well, I think we would all enjoy hearing that, so thank you guys.
So, this is more of a question for Tony, but when I was probably like 4 or 5, my babysitter had a friend who could talk like Donald Duck, and I thought that was so cool, so I just started messing around and I made the first couple sounds, and now I'm the Donald of Skyview High School in Cache Valley. How long did it take you to practice both under apprenticeship and get it to where it is now?
It was 3 years of an official apprenticeship, and then I would say there was probably a 5-year learning curve on top of that to get good at it. And the same thing was with Clarence. If you listen to The Wise Little Hen, which was the first Donald Duck cartoon in 1933, and then you listen to Three Caballeros, which was 10 years later in 1943, the difference is, incredible.
You just learn,
so clear. So there's a 10-year learning curve. I think you caught on right away.
But the first couple of years, the first year or two, I was just doing a voice match for Pinto Colvig. I was doing an impression of Goofy. And I noticed that we did a project called State Fair at Disneyland, where they're going to turn the whole park into a fair. And I had to do the spiel for the monorail, which was not written, now we're cruising 30, this is the first monorail in the Southern Hemisphere, or whatever.
Please present e-ticket before boarding speed ramp to the monorail.
And I had to do all that. These are giant critters, prehistoric critters here, world before time, or whatever it was. But that was on the train. I just monorail. I can't remember. Anyway, I was doing that, and it wasn't written for Goofy, so I didn't know how to interpret the words. How would Goofy say this? And I went home and I worked at it really hard to get it in the Goofy vernacular and the way that he scoops words and says words. And I kind of had a little epiphany. And at that point, I felt like it became mine, because after that time, I felt that I could say anything as that character, and it would be true. It would be what Goofy would say. Before that, I was doing an impression. So there's kind of a learning curve. And that was a couple of years, 2 or 3 years into doing Goofy, when I finally, I got it. And then you feel the character, and it becomes more organic.
Thank you. We're washing our mouths.
Hi, both of you have such wide ranges of characters that you can voice and impersonate. We just had our primaries here this week, and I'm wondering if either of you do impressions of any of the presidential candidates.
It's so wonderful to be here. These are gigantic names. Look at these. Bernie Sanders, he sounds like Christopher Lloyd and Jackie Mason. I hope the young people will vote for me this year before I fall over. I don't do Hillary, but I can do Bill. I'm going to be back in there. I'm going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to have for days on end. I used to do a joke with him. I said, presidents would always, to learn to do a voice, you find something that they said and you do it over and over. Like if, Reagan, you just, will, will. That's all you got to do. Kennedy would ask Don what your country can do for you, or something that they said, and you can do it over.
I had a dream.
And Clinton was, I'll feel your pain. And I said, I'll feel anything you let me feel. So, yeah.
So Bill votes for whoever he can imitate the best.
Oh yeah, those are. I vote for whoever I do the best impression of. I've done a lot of them over the years. I did on an episode of Murphy Brown. I did George Herbert Walker Bush. Wasn't he prudent this juncture? Of course, Saddam Hussein over there in the desert. Stuff like that. Jimmy Carter was, how close are you doing? So yeah, I'll just have to work on it. The political ones are always fun to do. I used to always say, we should have voted. My favorite one was Ross Perot. Because you just say he could answer anything in 5 words or less. He says, what should we do about the national debt? Put it on the MasterCard. Next question. Anyway.
Have any of your kids' friends ever come home and realize that you did the Disney voices and asked to act out a scene?
Have any of Austin ever had friends that came over and...
Yeah. My son, Austin, he had friends that he finally figured out this was cool. He didn't know that... He thought everybody had dads that did this stuff. We were in Florida, and his grandfather was going to go to work, and Austin said, well, what voice do you do? He's like a Hollywood kid. And he'd come over, your dad's goofy, man, And when they had what they wanted to do for his birthday, Austin asked his friends, what do you want to do? And they wanted to watch a Goofy movie at our house with me and Jason Marsden narrating. Yeah, we did that. Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
And we had about 10 kids over there, and...
You're the best dad ever.
And now he's a rock drummer, so, he's following that he's got music talent, and I don't.
He does, he's a musician.
Any other questions? Yes, there you go.